Welcome to my channel. Here are 5 terrifying times women invited me somewhere I should not have gone. Story 1, the wrong apartment. I was on a date with this girl and we were getting along really well. I walked her to her apartment building, and when she opened the door, she invited me in. Something felt off immediately. It was a 1-bedroom apartment and her stuff was everywhere. But none of the pictures on the walls were of her. There were pictures of a young girl and what looked like her parents. I shrugged it off though, because sometimes people put up pictures of who they miss. Or maybe it was just an old apartment that she hadn't gotten around to decorating yet. A few minutes later, the front door slammed shut and a man's voice whispered from behind the door, "You shouldn't be here." I didn't wait around to find out if he meant me or her. I ran down 3 flights of stairs and into the street. When I turned around to go back up, I realized that she never lived in that building. Story 2, the silent diner. I was finishing up my shift when this woman sat down at my usual booth in the diner. She smiled and said, "You look like someone I know," but I couldn't see her face because she had a stack of papers blocking it. "Let's get some coffee," she said, sliding the papers away to reveal a lovely smiling face. And then she was gone. She disappeared before I could so much as nod at her. I thought it was weird, but I also had the rest of the night off, so why not grab a cup of coffee and try to figure out who this mysterious woman was? As I approached the booth, I saw that she had left, but the waitress had set down 2 cups of coffee. No big deal, I thought. I'll just grab a seat and wait for her. But 10 minutes went by and she still hadn't shown up. Just as I was about to leave, the kitchen door swung open and plates of food slid onto the table in front of me. Nobody was in the kitchen. No waiters came out to serve me. No customers were in the booths. It was just me, my food, and 2 steaming cups of coffee. When I turned back to my mystery date, she was gone, and the plate across from me was licked clean. Story 3, the basement door. I went over to my friend's house for a movie night. His mom invited me down to the basement to watch a classic horror flick. Halfway through the movie, he excused himself to go to the bathroom, which left me alone in the flickering light of the TV with his sleeping dog. I couldn't help but notice that the basement door was slightly ajar. It was made of wood and painted the same color as the wall, so it blended right in. I asked myself, should I knock and close the door? What if something scary is down there? I decided to investigate. I slowly crept toward the basement door and peeked inside. The hallway stretched into darkness. On either side were rows of full-length mannequins wearing vintage dresses. Each mannequin had a different hairstyle, and the most unsettling thing, they all looked like real hair. I don't know what possessed me to do it, but I reached out and touched one of the wigs. In that moment, the basement door slammed shut. I jumped and spun around to find my friend standing there with a horrified expression on his face. "What are you doing down here?" he whispered. I told him I was just curious about the basement, and he let out a breath he was clearly holding. "Come on," he said, grabbing my hand. "We need to go back upstairs." The worst part? One of the mannequins was wearing the exact outfit I had on. Story 4, the drive. I was hanging out with this guy I met online, and he invited me to go for a late-night drive to look at the stars. I hopped into his car, and we started making small talk. Within a few minutes, he turned to me and said, "Almost there." I knew we were in the woods, but I didn't say anything. So he kept driving. Finally, he stopped the car and turned off the engine. He got out and opened the trunk and gestured for me to look inside. It was full of women's purses. He closed the trunk and turned back to me. "You can stay here as long as you want," he said, smiling. That's when I noticed the other car parked nearby with its engine still running. "Can we go back now?" I asked. He nodded, and I got into the passenger seat. As he drove, I watched him closely. This was starting to feel really creepy. Suddenly, his phone started buzzing. He unlocked it, and I saw that it said my name on the screen. Story 5, the photo. I went on a coffee date with this girl, and at the end, she asked if she could take my picture. Just for memory's sake, she said with a smile. I agreed, and she snapped the pic. Perfect, she said. It'll last longer than you will. I was confused but played it cool. What do you mean? I asked. She just smiled and walked away. Later that night, I checked her Instagram and my suspicions were confirmed. The photo she took of me was posted on an account with nothing but missing persons.